Oh, what's going on? It's Miguel. Today I'm gonna be kind of like walking you through how I've built like my dream life here in Thailand at 21. A little bit more about me. Made over 6 figures online off the fucking laptop, doing high ticket closing. I'm gonna have some more videos on my channel, like kind of diving more into that. But don't watch those yet. See what we're out here doing first. But yeah, so I'm just kind of like explain how I've gotten to where I'm at and what all I've been doing. So essentially this started like a few years ago. I was living in Florida. Those who know, Jacksonville, Florida, dirty Duval County, go Jags. But yeah, it was great, right? Not really, but you know, I love my family, I love my friends, but ultimately that's not where I wanted to be at, right? It was very comfort lifestyle. Grew up playing a lot of sports. Then I stopped giving a fucking school, had a 2.1 GPA out of high school, went to college, dropped out on my syllabus quiz, literally broke down crying looking at that. And it was not because the test made me cry or something, it called me fat or gay or something, but it was more so the fact that I'm looking at that syllabus and I'm thinking, I've been doing this shit for 18 years and I'm gonna have to do this for another 4 to 5 and pay money to do it and be a fucking drone for the next 4 to 5 years in order to maybe make a decent amount of money, because I didn't even know what I wanted to do. So silently dropped out, didn't tell my family or anything, just started making YouTube videos, would go over to my girlfriend at girlfriend's house at the time, and I would just ideate YouTube videos, obviously be a complete fucking mess up and just hang out with her all day as well. Definitely wasn't going hard enough. It would just make YouTube videos all day, right? Eventually saw Andrew Tate pop up and was like, all right, I'm broke as hell. This guy's bald guys call me broke, and he's whipping around some crazy shit. He's getting super popular, and it made me do some self-reflection, right? Because I did end up having to work at a warehouse, an Amazon warehouse job, and there's a bunch of aisles, and you're having to go up and down and scan. I remember the sound of the scanner. It was ding, or it was like dun if you got it wrong, right? If you scanned the wrong item. And they like gamified you being a robot, and I literally felt like a rat. You're like going up and down. You had a specific lunchtime. I had to be there at 5 a.m., so I had to wake up at 4. I had a 10-hour shift. I did that 4 days in a row, so then those 3 next days, I would be able to do YouTube, but I was so fucking tired from walking around, I barely wanted to record. I didn't really want to edit. I didn't want to go to the gym, so I got out of shape, and I wasn't making shit for money. It was like $15 an hour, right? So ultimately, life was pretty shitty. And then I saw that and I was like, okay, I just gotta stop being a fuck up. So rather than continue to do entertainment content in YouTube, I'm not saying that wouldn't work, I decided I need to learn a skill set and I need to do it now. So I ended up switching and working at a golf course, $12 an hour, but there was tips, so it came out like 20 something dollars an hour, depending on the day, right? And then what I really unlocked there was I was constantly educating myself, right? I was like, okay, I want to do this or I want to do that. And luckily my girlfriend at the time was very smart, Ivy League level smart. Her brother went to Harvard, all this sorts of jazz. So they instilled a lot of self-belief in me, because these people are smart, they're doing cool shit, and if they believe in me and telling me I have options, then I'm going to do it, right? I'm going to listen to them. So I started looking into software engineering, right? Realized I didn't have to go to school for it, so I thought it was pretty cool. But I was also looking at going to school in like New York or something and networking, meeting people, because I had family. Then I discovered not high ticket sales, but tech sales rather. So I saw that and I was like, oh shit, you're telling me I don't have to learn all this stuff, go to school, it's not as technically complex. All I have to do is talk to people and I can make money. I fucking love talking. Let me do that. So then I bought a course, $500. It was $250 up front, $250 like a week or two later in order to get into it, which was pretty funny, because it was like everybody at the time was shitting on me for what I was doing. They were like, why the fuck are you doing this or that? I stopped talking to people. I was like trying to really change myself. And I mean, those were hard times, man. I absolutely was stressed the fuck out, because then I started running a relationship tension with my girlfriend. I was staying with her like all the damn time. I was like resenting my friends because I saw myself in them, and it made the relationship hard because I started to not relate as much. And then little things came up, miscommunications. I was young, didn't know how to handle it. So I had a horrible social relationship, and the girlfriend I was with at the time was always butting heads. Ended up, projecting that on other people, had a bad relationship with my family, got out of shape, and life was fucking horrible. But I had that goal in my mind of like, okay, this is all going to be worth it because I'm striving for this. And then as soon as I got that job making $70K plus a year, at 19, and getting into staffing, it did not end up being tech, it was a staffing agency. Life was great, right? I mean, it was amazing. I remember crying on my bed, and my girlfriend like embracing me at that time, and You're telling me it's like you're doing good, it's all worth it type of stuff. And I thought that was like, it's funny because that lasted for a day or two, and then it was like, okay, we're on to the next thing, right? And that's the funny part about life, right? Is like we shoot for something, and then when we end up getting it, we want to get to the next. Like I noticed here, I thought this was my dream life, coming out here, getting to it, grinding, and being in Bangkok, Thailand. I'm in a lot better shape now. Obviously, way better there. Having a girl out here that I'm seeing, having met some really cool people, but we always want to take it to the next level. So don't feel bad if you made some progress or you're looking to make progress and you feel a little down because of it. Now, obviously, be grateful of where you're at and be appreciative. You don't have to hate the journey, but it's okay to feel some sort of like tension and disgust for where you're at. Honestly, like you do have to be a little uncomfortable with your situation in order for you to make a change. So coming back to the story though, I landed a 70K a year job. Things were going well. I ended up leading a Fortune 500 sales company as an SDR. I did $6 million in pipeline generation, closed 900K as a sales rep. So now I had 900K cash collected under my belt, a few million in pipeline. Things were looking pretty damn sweet, but I fucking hated it, right? I tried moving to Miami, fell flat on my face and failed, right? Because I hadn't done self-development. So I had to look in the mirror and really have tough conversations with myself about who I was and where I was at. Because I started slacking off, and the things that got me to that position of being in my being in that discomfort zone, I stopped doing, and ultimately I slipped back. So you do have to kind of be redlining and always pushing yourself to get to where you want to go, right? You don't necessarily grow without getting uncomfortable. I don't know if you all go to the gym, but you grow when you're pushing that weight off your chest and it hurts, right? And it's tough in the moment, but on the back end of that is everything you ever wanted. So everything you want comes on the back of a little discipline, a little bit of patience, and a couple of tough conversations. A lot of those conversations are with yourself. So I had to have those honest conversations with myself, and that was one of the hardest parts. But once those conversations got over, and I got over the mindset and limiting beliefs I had, I was able to continue pushing forward. So I just constantly reinvested in myself, tried businesses, failed, all this sorts of stuff in between. Fitness coaching business, fucking tried OnlyFans management, tried a couple different agencies, and I always came back to high ticket sales and closing because at the end of the day, it just makes so much cash, right? And it's such a easy and replicable skill that applies to everything. And it's funny because now I'm in a position where I have so many options, and I always have because of the fact I have this skill set that one makes me cash, and two, it applies to everything. So it's definitely a privileged position to be in. But now we're in Thailand, as I said. And I built my dream life kind of through those steps, and kind of wrapping this all up and giving you some tactical advice here of what this looks like is one, understand like comfort is the antithesis of growth, and that getting uncomfortable with what your position and not being satisfied is okay. It's not bad to be hurting a little bit, right? Because you got to have the carrot, but you also got to have the stick. Well, I always like to say this: if you have the fat kid, the jolly little fat kid who's chasing the ice cream truck, he's running pretty fast to get to the ice cream truck, right? Faster than he usually runs. But if he had to run out of a burning house, he's probably going to run a little faster, right? What situation do you think he'd run faster in? Towards the ice cream truck to get some ice cream, or out of the burning house because if he doesn't run out, he dies? So you need to have both. You need to have something you're shooting for. Like I wanted to get to making 10K a month online. I wanted to travel. I wanted to have the body I wanted. I wanted to have the hot girlfriend. I wanted to have the fashion. I wanted to have the cool lifestyle and people being proud of me. But at the same time, I was scared to death of living a life I fucking hated and looking in the mirror, not being proud of myself and being disgusted. So you have to have that dynamic. You have to have something you're shooting for, but also have something that's pushing you forward, right? That push and pull. It's good to have both. One isn't good enough. And then two, keep top of mind your goals and what you need to get there. So I just constantly reminded myself, okay, I need to be here. This person has a certain set of habits, and habits are formed by certain decision-making patterns. So therefore, I need to make those decision-making patterns in order to achieve that goal. Well, how can I make that as easy as possible, right? Because it's a lot easier. It's very simple, but it's a lot harder to practice. So what I did is I just started making my environment as frictionless as possible in order to achieve that goal. Okay, so what does that look like? Okay, I had a journal every single day. As soon as I woke up, all right, let's write down the goal. Let's revisit, let's reread my goals. Okay, I have a checklist I need to get done. Let me get that done. At the end of the day, let me revisit my day, reflect on this, get me towards my goal, remind myself of my goal. At nighttime, write down what I'm gonna do the next day to get towards my goal. And if you constantly keep it top of mind, and it's the only thing you think of, and you're working as hard as possible, it becomes pretty much impossible for you to not see success and results. By the way, look at this shit. Oh my God. Insane. But what I'm getting at here is if you only work towards something, it's the only thing you think about, and it encapsulates your every thought, and you have something pushing you towards this goal, that, or else you think of it as death in your mind, right? Basically, you have to make it that grand, and you really have where you want to get to, it becomes a lot easier to achieve it. Okay, and then third, this is the last thing I'll go over with you here, and I kind of mentioned already, is just discipline and patience. You have to stay disciplined. There's going to be days you don't want to do this shit. Like, I'm experiencing it now. I'm trying to pivot from, being a closer and working with small clients to like doing something big and getting to the next level, right? I could just say, hey, look, fuck it, I'm just gonna make 10K a month, 20K a month as a closer, right? And that's great if that's what you're going for, but I really want to do something big. So now I'm having that same experience over again, getting uncomfortable and trying to take it to the next level. And the shit never gets easier. You just get better and more well-equipped, right? The weight doesn't change, but you become stronger. So keep that in mind. Being disciplined and being patient and doing it for a long enough time period is ultimately what's going to get you towards your goal. Because if you continue to stay in the game and you don't quit, you won't fail. You only fail when you quit. Okay, so just pick one thing, pick a vision, remind yourself of it day by day, and don't give up, and eventually it'll happen. But yeah, that's my step-by-step to formulate Dream Life. That's kind of my story and how I got to where I'm at. If you want to kind of learn a little bit more about what I do and how I do it, just check out my page. I got some videos on it. I'll probably drop something down in the description below. Or if you have any questions, drop me a DM on Instagram and I'll be sure to get back to you. That being said, I'm gonna get the fuck back inside before this comes down, and I'm gonna go do some work on the computer. But that being said, God bless.